Howdy peeps and welcome back to the channel. And yes, Sharpie is most certainly back. 2 weird Russian tanks in a week. Well, I've got them in a week whether the videos go up. Yeah, you know, yada yada. So what we've got here, and excuse because the box art's the wrong way around as it were, but it's still a damn cool picture, is miniart 135 interior kit of the BM-8-24 self-propelled rocket launcher. And if I move the box up, you'll actually be able to see the rest of the pic, apart from the glare from the overhead light. That's because the sun's gone in and it's piddling down rain at the moment. But there we go. A rather nice looking kit. I got this off Amazon. I believe it was Creative Models, part of Prime Day. They were having a sale, so this was basically half price. I think I paid £23 or something like that, so you can't complain at that for a full interior miniart kit, even if it is only a little tank. And this one, I'll try and go through it relatively quick. It's a miniart kit, so there's lots of it. And I'll put the instructions over there for first. Everything in one big bag. There's probably a few smaller bags in there as well. So without further ado, we shall and typical crinkly bags, and no, I haven't got around to changing the knife blade yet. This is one kit I don't think I'll be able to norm. Come on. Usually with miniart kits, once you take them out of the bag, you can't get them back in the box. So there's one big bag with a couple of smaller bags in it. Some people prefer individually wrapped sprues. I've found with miniart kits that are sensibly and well packed together, so you don't get too much issue, broken parts or anything like that, and the parts tend to be fairly small anyway with miniart. It's not like we're going to be getting full whole tubs and stuff like that. So pop the little envelope to the side because I know what's in there, and we'll start pulling the screws out. Now there will be lots of copies of certain screws, and I will chuck them to the side as we go because we don't need to look at, for example, all 11 screws of track links. Oh, no, that one's different. So I will zoom us in on this because most of these parts are pretty small. I just got to remember to keep looking up at the camera screen rather than at what I'm looking at. So we have sprues CF. That should give you a clue how many sprues are in the kit. Teeny tiny individual track links. Moulded hollow guide horns. Not a huge amount of detail on there, but with them being that small, there's probably not going to ever be that much individual detail per link. As you can see, the hollow guide horns. Very nicely crisply moulded, zero flash, tiny little sprue gate attachments. They won't prove a problem. Then, as this is a rocket tank, it comes with a good few sprues, I'd guess, of rockets. So we have them, a couple of separate tail fins. Yeah, nothing to write home about. Again, tiny sprue gates, ejector pads rather than on the parts. That'll be easy enough to figure out and sort out. We have many sprues of those and many sprues of track links. Should we start with something a bit more recognisable as a tank bit? That might be an idea. Again, the thing with miniart kits is sometimes you look at the parts and you can't figure out what the heck they are. So here we have sprue BA, which is the lower hull plate, final drives, fenders, tow cable, tools, some kind of what I'd almost say looked like a coax MG mantlet. It's probably some kind of driver's hatch, and a few other teeny tiny parts. Now if I zoom you in on this, I'm going to have to go through these fairly rapidly because there's a lot of sprues to go through. You can see there is a little bit of what looks like some kind of mould release on there. Whether it is, I don't know. But the fine tiny rivet detail on all the parts, to say there's zero flashes. This is a relatively, if not very new kit, so the same with the fenders, tiny little mounting points for the various bits that go on there, and obviously being a full interior, we have all the interior detail on the lower hull plate as well, and the underside of the fenders. No ejector pin marks, lots of ejector pin pads on the sprues, and as you can see on the tow cable, or you might not be able to see, it's got good detail, lots of very fine sprue mounting points. Could prove interesting to cut off, but with the new style plastic that miniart have these days, it's not too bad. Doesn't snap the second you go near it. We have there's a couple of sprues of these, the return rollers, basically tiny little wheels. There's two types, both look good. One's based on the spider wheel, I think, and another is based on another type. Yeah, easy enough. Sprue DA, the whole sides, the outside where the final drive and fenders sit. Again, as you can see, very fine detail, very crisp, nicely moulded. Flip it over, and we've got the same on the inside as well. So again, very nice. And this is why I enjoy miniart kits. It's just really nicely moulded and put together and engineered. Yeah, that's interesting. Oh well, maybe we've got some bits we don't need. So next we have sprue HB. I think there's something like 53 individual sprues in this kit. So we have the upper hull, and as I say, lots of smaller parts that I have no clue what most of them are. Probably linkages for the driver's station, for the controls, the radio box, whatever. You know. No detail really on the underside of the top plate, and there's a few little ejector pin marks, but they're slightly raised, so they'll be easy enough to deal with. Yep, all looking good. And then we have this one, which I'm guessing there's a different variant that has a turret on it. We have a different upper plate, and we have, get it in shot, different upper plate, and we have a turret ring. So yeah, I would say there is most likely a different variant with a turret. Might BT7, something like that. And we have all the little bits that are slide moulded. You can see they've even slide moulded the open ends on the muzzles of the MG and the well, MGs, I guess. So, you know, detail in spades, or detail for days. Now this one's sprue GE, I'm guessing is most likely part of the rocket launcher assembly. Get it in shot again. And again, as we go through the whole of this kit, this is what we'll find. Fine, delicate parts, super crisp, awesome detail. I think we even got weld seams around the edges of these tiny bits here on there. So, yeah. Are they kits for the faint-hearted? No, not really. It's I wouldn't necessarily say they were an expert kit. They're certainly not a beginner kit. Another random sprue JD. I'll have some coke with that, thanks. Just a few random little detaily parts. Then we have a bunch of wheel sprues, wheels, different centre caps. Again, nice, crisp. There's not a huge amount of detail on the wheels, they're just solid castings, so yeah. A little bit flashy on the back where they've got the holes coming through, but as I said in the SU-152 video, that's going to happen. And it's easy enough to clean up, as I showed you in the SU-152 review. Sprue EJ. They have an internal plate and various random little bits. That looks like it might actually be the exhaust. And yeah, it's slide moulded open. Although it's only a tiny opening. Right, so that's the first bag gone through. And the second bag. Considering the size of this tank, you're probably wondering how the hell do you actually get all of that into that one. Yeah, there's not a lot of space in these once you've got the interiors in. So, second bag, thankfully seems to be larger sprues. Clear part, and our decals, decals, water salt transfers, stickers, whatever you want to call them. So, first sprue out of the second bag is sprue AB, and this appears to mainly be the engine. And again, like with the rest of it, super fine, super crisp. Knowing from experience, it will fit like a dream, providing you put it together right. Same thing as with the Bronco kits. No problems with that sprue whatsoever. With the Bronco kits, they go together really well, providing you put them together really well. If you make a mistake, they will bite you. They'll bite you hard. So these are the rocket launcher rails, individual rails. Super crisp detail on those, lovely. Both sides. So we've got like half a dozen sprues of those. So although it's 53 sprues, I think, there's not a lot of parts on some of the sprues. And quite a lot of them are identical. We've got 3 of those. One of those, right. GC, which is, it's part of the modularity of their kits. So, I mean, this is a wooden storage crate. So technically they could drop this into any other Russian tank kit that had a wooden storage crate this size. Really nice texture on the wood grain. It's really not going to take much to make those pop and look really pretty. And it's all on the interior as well, so you can have the box open and show off some rockets inside it. That's superb. That's a real, unless you can hold that right up to the camera so you can see just how fine that detail actually is on the mould, on the wood. Even the tiny bits have got. And then the inside. Yeah. Seems stupid, it's a wooden box, but get your detailing right. So sprue EA, probably going to start charging us for microtransactions. Again, more of the upper plates, driver's vision port, hatch vision port, and just like the rest, lovely moulding, beautiful weld detail, and yeah, okay, we've got a couple of slight ejector pin marks, but that's going to be that's the bottom of one of the top plates, so you're A, never going to see it, and B, they're easy enough to clean up. And next we have just another sprue with DC. Oh, I wonder if we get AC as well, and we can make some in Thunder Tusk. Right, again, just more plates, same levels of detail. And another one with fender ends, drive sprocket, fender stays, storage box, various little parts. Gives you a clue how tiny it is. Those are the suspension arms, the swing arms. Yeah, all good. Looking nice. And the problem I always have whenever I review a miniart kit is I'm never going to get this go back in the box. Might have to just build it instead. CB. Oh, we have the radio sprue, CB, and it does actually have the radio on it, and fire extinguisher. One of the drive, probably steering lever. Just a few other little bits, but as I say, all the sprues that are in here, every single one is just beautifully moulded and detailed. So even down to butt grooves and creases in the seats, spare ammunition boxes and drums, little vent cover with super fine mesh detail on it. And just the way that the little, bring it back up again so you can see just the little storage boxes, the amount of detail I've got moulded into them. I've got the strap moulded in, and it looks right as it goes over rather than just melds in. Next, not really worth, we're there anyway, and we've got a bit of time. So, yeah, one clear lens, looks like a lens to me, and a minute decal sheet which is mainly just, I'm guessing, stencils for the rockets. I'll bring that up, hopefully it'll focus. As I say, I guess most of that is just stencils for rockets. Probably just be the 11, 13, 43/2 and various other bigger ones that might actually go on the machine itself. Put those back in the bag and get to our little miniart envelope, which, we know what's going to be in here. And it's going to be a sheet of really fine thin photo etch. Not a huge amount on this kit, and what there is doesn't look to be too evil to bend or anything like that. And to be fair, you could probably get away with not using quite a bit of it, and we've got the various catches and straps to go around the tools, I think, which is always interesting. But that's a better design than the Dragon ones, which have you actually pulling it around and then trying to actually literally buckle it as you were doing up a shoe buckle, if you're old enough to remember when shoes had buckles. Right. Oh, we've got a bunch of old masking tape stuck to the back of the Destructions, and we're going to have to zoom us out for this one, because And yes, there's tools all over my bench. And quick shout out, silicone clay shapers, must have tool, endlessly useful for filler, decals, all sorts. So here we go, open up the instructions. Colour callouts in Vallejo, Mr. Colour, Life Colour, Tamiya Testers, AK Real Colour, Humbrol, Rebel, Mission Models. Yep, and it's 4BO green, white, grey, black, metal. it's the usual, nothing spectacular that you wouldn't have. Callouts for the rockets and the storage boxes. Sprue mat, which is going to go on quite some time, and onto the actual put stuff together. Clear, concise. There can be quite a bit happening in a single step, but it is all clear and obvious where things go. You do find yourself making quite a few sub-assemblies with mini-art kits, especially the interior ones, but then that means you can paint the sub-assemblies separately before you stick it all together, and that just saves masking and faffing about. So we've got our hull, driver's position, final transfer box, and we put the little putt-putt engine together. It goes back, one of the sidewalls go on, rear plate, engine going in. Unless you've got to, I would fit the various mounts that mount the side plate, get everything lined up, and then put the side plate to one side, paint, weather the three parts separately, and then glue them together afterwards. So rear plate, engine going in, exhaust going in, it looks like, fan being put together, chop off some ridges, the side plate going on, there's a firewall, not a toilet seat lid, that's a seat, just various other bits and pieces going on the inside, upper hull going on, the suspension, wheels, driver's hut we call it, the light, which you can either have the clear lens or the photo etch one with the slit in it. Again, just more bits going on. Tracks going together, 86 links per side, but they are tiny. Fenders, and it shows you, this is the etch to hold the fire extinguisher. And it shows you how it should look when you're done, and you can get a good idea of how to bend it from that if it hasn't shown you. And they're the teeny tiny ones that I was saying about with the pickaxe or the axe. Now you've got to find some that make fuel. Fenders going on, various little bits of etch going on, and we're on to the assembly of the rocket rack, which is probably going to need to be taken time over, and if not a jig, at least something so you can make sure you've got a set square basically, so you can make sure you've got two straight edges. So I think that would be very easy to assemble into a parallelogram. Rocket crate going together. Whether it actually goes onto the tank, I don't think it does. So yeah, just diorama pieces then, and pop in the rocket launcher on. You can either have it raised or lowered. You can't move it between the two, I don't think, but let's be honest, we're all going to have it raised. And then colour schemes, green, green, sand, green. So there we go. And because I was a bit smarter this time, I managed to do that. So I haven't actually got the lid full of sprues. I've just got to try and get them all back in the box now. Anyway, Hope you've enjoyed this. I've tried to keep it brief, but we're ending up quite a long one anyway, just because there's sheer amount of stuff in there. Fair bit to talk about and show. So, enjoy your modelling. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to click like and subscribe and all that good stuff. Leave a comment down below if you've got anything you want to say. You know, preferably not to just swear at me. You know, I'd rather not. But that doesn't really bother me. Yeah. Peace out. Rock on. Bye bye.